Hi, this is JP Morgan. Today on the Slanted Lens, I'm here with beautiful Jenna Krumholtz, and we're going to take some fabulous vintage Hollywood portraits. So stick with us, we'll teach you the 4 things you need to know to be able to take these fabulous portraits. We've got a great giveaway here in September. We've got the Baja A6 by Dynalite, fabulous strobe head. We've got a grand softbox and a speed ring. It's a complete kit, $950 value. Go to theslantlens.com and sign up. So George Hurrell was the master at these vintage Hollywood portraits. He just would sculpt actors' faces and just make them look fabulous. But he was not afraid of a little bit of shadow. I wanted to see if I could get that same great look that George Hurrell got using my vector lights. I think there's 4 principles to make this happen, so I'm going to apply all 4 of them and see what we get. First off is positioning. George Hurrell was the master at positioning. He didn't just throw the light around. He knew if you get a light in and up, you get a great butterfly on an actress or an actor's face. So the first thing is you've got to position the light in the right place. You're going to put it into a butterfly. You're going to bring it around to a 45 Rembrandt. You're going to bring it into an underlight that'll kind of light them from underneath. You're going to choose a place that shapes the face according to the different portrait positions. So the first thing is placement of that light. If you get a light too far in the middle, not enough in the front, not enough to the side, it's going to look kind of mushy. And if you get it too low, it's going to definitely not look right. It's got to be up. A lot of times he got it up so high, he would drop the shadows of the eyelashes onto their cheeks. A little bit over the camera is a fabulous place, or strong to the side gives us a 45, the 2 great places. It's all about positioning. Remember, when a person goes into a profile, get the light around. Don't light the front of them anymore. So when we've got her looking at the camera, we're going to get the light straight up front or over to the side, but when she turns away from us, we're going to bring this light way around. And when she cuts back, it goes into a 45 or a loop light, and it gives us a nice drawing on her arms and things from the side. Number 2 is quality of light. George Hurrell used pretty strong, hard light. I can get that kind of look with my vector lights because I'm going to put a grid on them, and in the case of the backdrop, I'm going to put some black wrap around it so I get a really kind of narrow light. So that's number 2. Number 3 is about exposure and control. I'm going to take my vectors and put a grid on them. That's going to choke down the area of coverage, but it's also going to give me a little less exposure. So I've just got to simply set my ISO at 1240, go to 4.0, and I'll get a beautiful exposure. It'll be bright and it'll be wonderful. But I'm using controlled areas of light, so it gives me a nice, beautiful highlight. Even though those vectors are soft around the edges, when I get it in nice and close, they give me that same great highlight that George Hurrell used to use. I did put a lot of little cuts and pieces of cardboard and things in there to take some, if it was too bright on her arm, I'd put a piece of cardboard in there. It's fascinating to me when people try to flag things, they try to get it really close to the light to flag the light off. Get it as far away from the light as you can and as close to the subject as possible before it gets in the camera view. That's the easiest place to flag somebody. So get it way down here, just sneak it in, and it'll just softly take the edge off. Just slowly bring it in to where it takes the edge off from someone's arm. I also know that every light has an area of coverage. And so if I set up my light and I've got a beautiful highlight on her face with my vector light, with my grid, I'll just roll that around and start to find the edge of that area of coverage. So it rolls up onto her and it doesn't bleed into the background or pollute everything else on set. Number 4, you've got to be okay with shadows. George Hurrell loved it, even with people who get shadows in their eyes, who just let those shadows live there. He loved shadows. If they start to fall into the background too much, he would put just a little bit of light on the background. It would separate the person from the background. So we're going to do most of these shots today with 2 lights, a key light and 1 light on the background to separate. So we're working with 1 key light, strong, focused, right position. 2, background light, be able to separate the person from our background. Number 3, occasionally a little bit of hair light, kind of separate them just a little bit. And last of all, makeup makes a huge difference. Terry Groves over at Makeup Magic did a fabulous job on Jenna's face. She gave us some beautiful sculpting on her cheeks and in her eyes, and that red lips. Remember, in black and white, red goes black. And so that's why a lot of those lips on those old stars look very dark. So there you have it, the 4 things to make a great, successful Hollywood portrait, and we did it with LEDs. I love doing this. It was a lot of fun. I'd love to do more of this kind of work, but get out there, do your own portraits, send them in, post them to our Facebook group. Let us see the things that you're doing. This is an easy thing to do. You can do it with 1 light and get some fabulous return. So get out there and shoot some portraits. Keep those cameras rolling, keep on clicking. Trisha Zemp made a stop motion out of the Slanted Lens logo. She's going to teach you how to do this and much, much more if you go to theslantedlens.com/stop motion. Buy the download, it'll teach you everything you need to know about stop motion. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. And while I'm doing my close-up, why don't you subscribe to the Slanted Lens? And then you can do your close-up too.